All right, welcome in. The New York Jets have a new quarterback coach and pass game coordinator. I want to break down my thoughts on them, learn a little bit more as we go. So if you guys have any info, love to see it in the chat and see exactly what you guys are thinking of. The New York Jets hire Scott Turner, Norv Turner's son, as pass game coordinator and Charles London as quarterbacks coach. First and foremost, Scott Turner, 42 years old, brings 14 years of NFL coaching experience to the Jets. He is son of former longtime head coach Norv Turner. His coaching journey includes roles as offensive coordinator for Washington 2020 to 2022, interim offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024, and his experience as a play caller will be invaluable to first-time offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand. First-time offensive coordinator in the sense of being an NFL offensive coordinator, but not first time in the sense of being a play caller. He's been a play caller and an offensive coordinator at the collegiate level for a long time, 8 years. But Scott Turner, getting to him, Charles London, quarterback coach, been appointed by the Jets. Diverse coaching background, has served as the quarterbacks coach for the Atlanta Falcons and Tennessee Titans. His experience working with quarterbacks will be crucial as the Jets need to develop a young franchise quarterback behind Aaron Rodgers. As far as resumes go for Scott Turner, like I said, offensive coordinator for the Commanders 2020 to 2022, and then the Las Vegas Raiders this past year in an interim capacity. For the Commanders 2020, their offense is ranked 30th in yards per game, 25th in scoring points per game. His quarterbacks were Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins, Kyle Allen as the three there. Alex Smith had 1,500 yards in just 8 games that season, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Not a great year. Dwayne Haskins, 7 games, 1,400 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Kyle Allen, 610 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. So that rough year to say the least. That was the injury year for Alex Smith, if I'm not mistaken, or was that that might have been his bounce back year. 2021 offensive rankings 21st and 23rd, so a slight tick up in year 2 as offensive coordinator. Taylor Heineke was his quarterback. 16 games, 3,400 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and 85.9 passer rating. In 2022, offense was ranked 20th, and then scoring offense was 24th, so hovering right around the same as the year prior. Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke were the 2 quarterbacks that year, combining for about under 4,000 yards. What was that, 3,500 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. So year 3, really not looking that bad, all things considered, when you consider, Heineke and Wentz at that stage. And then this past year with the Raiders, I guess this is giving me the full year, even though he wasn't the full year coordinator for this. 27th in yards this year, 30th in points. So of the 4 years that he's called play, even though the Raiders one has a little bit of an asterisk, he's never been above 20th ranked in yards or points. So, I mean, I guess that's that. You can give me your thoughts. They had Minshew this year, and then, who was their rookie? No, they didn't have a rookie. They had, what's his face? Aiden O'Connell, right? From last year? I don't know. I'm lukewarm. I think at least Norv Turner's kid, Scott, as pass game coordinator, feels like it's in the right vein because he's been an offensive play caller in the NFL before. I think it's one that Tanner will be able to lean on for advice. I think Tanner's the one that I'm optimistic about. And hopefully between the two of them, they can figure something out. Obviously, I like that there is some veteran status to this kind of coaching staff. Obviously, with Wilkes on the defensive side, it feels like there's, I guess a lot of new people in their roles, but still like they're not as green as maybe years past as we would. Like Tanner Engstrand, for example, I think has a higher footing to me than LaFleur did when he got here. Maybe that's all subjective, and you guys can let me know what you think. As far as London and the quarterbacks that he's worked with as quarterbacks coach with the Atlanta Falcons, he had Matt Ryan in 2021. Almost 4,000 yards, 3,968 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions on the season. That was 67% completion percentage. They finished 29th in total offense, 26th in total scoring offense. That was the final year of Matt Ryan in Atlanta. And then they move on to Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder. Mariota had a 61% completion percentage, 2,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Ridder, in 4 games, 63% completion percentage, 708 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns. So not a whole lot going in the 2 seasons with Atlanta. They were 24th in 24th in total offense and 15th in scoring offense. So I guess that's a step in the right direction. Went up in both years, year over year. As far as the Tennessee Titans is concerned, he had Ryan Tannehill and Will Levis in 2023. He had Tannehill at a 60% completion percentage, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So again, the shell of Ryan Tannehill. And then Will Levis as a rookie, 9 games, 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Now, I'll be honest, I thought Levis looked halfway decent in 2023. At least impressive enough to be intrigued by him in 2024. I think 2024, the wheels came off and he did not look good. So that could be very much a testament to Charles London, or a little feather in his cap, if you will. And especially when you consider Matt Ryan, 2021, aging quarterback, moves into the next year with Mariota and Ridder, and they both look serviceable. Offensive rankings take a little bit of a bump up. Titans going from Ryan Tannehill to Will Levis, you get a little bit of a bump up going with the younger guy. I think that is at least the optimistic take. This past year, he was with the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith had himself a nice year. Now, I think Geno Smith was obviously a pretty good quarterback prior to London getting there. 17 games played for Geno. Just a tick under 70% completion percentage, 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions with 100.9 passer rating. That was good for a total offensive rank of 12th and a scoring offensive rank of 9th. So I don't know. I mean, I guess of the two, I think they're in the right roles for them to succeed. Meaning that I think not having Scott Turner as pass game coordinator and not having him as OC, I think is probably putting him in the correct role. I think having Charles London as a quarterback's coach instead of an elevated role might be the right role for these guys. The nice thing with all of them, Tanner Engstrand included, is they will all be able to claim some degree of responsibility for how this offense goes, with Glenn being a defensive head coach, or at least coming from the defensive side of the ball. Basically, all the onus is going to be on the offensive coaches that we hire. So I do think there's going to be an elevated level of, kind of looking at this this coaching staff and where they kind of go from there. I don't know. I would say these are a little less. I don't know. I guess I don't know where I was feeling the Jets were going to go with quarterback coach or pass game coordinator. I kind of wanted like a really good seasoned vet that's been around for a long time. Someone like a Doug Peterson, a Frank Reich. Like that's sort of who I was hoping for. Maybe Chad Pennington as like maybe we could have had him, former Jet, just bring them all back at the same time. I think he's coaching high school right now. Chad is. So I don't know. I guess I'm more of a wait and see approach and see where they go. I'll have to dive a little bit deeper into what each guy did. And I probably should have pulled up the statistics for the years prior on these quarterbacks to see how they either went up or down. It does seem like Scott called the final 4. Was it the final 4 games of the season when they fired their OC Getsy? I think from my understanding is that's how they won 2 of the final games of their year. Not that they were a very good team. They looked very incompetent the back half of the year, the Raiders did. But hey, you know what? They're Jets now. Feeling all right. Feeling all right. So I'm curious to see what you guys have to say on all that. Before we get too far into this, boys and girls, this stream is powered by BetUS. You can head over there for the big game. Kansas City Chiefs Kansas City Chiefs -2, Philadelphia Eagles +2. Who do you think has it in them? Are the Chiefs at -2 going to get the three-peat in history? Or will the Philadelphia Eagles and Saquon Barkley have something to say about that? Couldn't work that in as a good transition. That's all right. Get a 150% bonus match on your first deposit up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. That's a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. BetUS, thank you so much for sponsoring the channel. All right, let's get into your thoughts and questions and see what you have to say. Zachary says, quarterback coach is a questionable choice, but Turner is okay. He has experience. Yeah, look, I think I'm taking a glass half full approach with both these guys. Turner, I do think the former play calling experience is valuable for sure. I think with Charles London, if you look at how, going from a vet to a young quarterback in that handoff period, maybe optimistic signs. I don't think the Jets were ever going to attract like the top echelon guys. I also think in order to get those guys, you have to get them as head coaches, and that's, not quite where we're at right now. Cuddy says he would have liked to seen Eric Bieniemy as in there. Would have been interesting. Jets for life. Likes the late night live. Yeah, just little maybe half-hour stream prior to going to bed here before we start the week. Mark says Norv was a great coordinator, but a bad head coach. He was. He got stuck, couldn't get past, was it even the first round of the playoffs? They couldn't win any games when San Diego had Phillip Rivers and LT and Gates and Vincent Jackson. That team was loaded. They could just never win games in the playoffs when it mattered. Hennessy says we have all new staff. It's exciting. Maybe. Some people are pretty down on the whole thing. Zachary says, did you read the New York Post question article with Glenn? I did not read it. If you want to shoot it to me on Twitter or in a DM somewhere, I'd be happy to take a look at it. Tyson says, Scott Turner is my favorite hire for offense so far. I think it's nice that he has play calling experience, right? Like in the situation where you're like, oh man, Tanner's not working out, we need to at least maybe move play calling responsibilities over to someone else. I thought that was a nice option to have with Hackett and Todd Downing. So I would say I kind of fall sort of ish in line with that as well. Let's see. If this was the OC hire, I would be worried. Yeah, no, I think I'm fine with where he's at. A whole new offensive staff. Who's quarterback? I think the correct move is to try and get Aaron Rodgers back. I don't necessarily have to say like, hey, we want you and we're going to bend over backwards to make sure you come back. I think they would be fine if he actually retired as well. And they might even say like, hey, this is how the offense is going to run. We would love to have you here. Let us know if you're on board. And then if he says no, then he's kind of forced into retirement. They could probably tell him like, hey, look, we're not releasing you. Or if you want to poke around other teams, if he's interested in possibly going to another team. I don't know. I would like to see Rodgers back for one more season. I think it gives us the best chance to be competitive in 2025. But it's all on Rodgers. If Rodgers doesn't come back, then, do the Jets pull the trigger early on a quarterback, first or second round? Do the Jets, decide to go with the Justin Fields and Jordan Travis scenario for a year and then, I don't want to say punt, but like look towards the 2026 draft? Still a lot of questions to be answered. Raiders had O'Connell and Minshew. Yes. Chip Kelly to the Raiders. They went old school, real old school. Chip Kelly's not like that old school. Chip Kelly's like, man, when was he? God, was that 10 years ago already when he was the coach of the Eagles? That fast-paced offense? It was crazy. Hennessy, I'm excited for the new staff. I'd rather have unknown than all gas, no brakes staff. We already knew all their play calls. That's fair. Hey, what's up, Nick? Wait a second. I'm the late night guy. Pleasant surprise after I just ended. Hey, what's up, Nick? Yeah, I get late. Now that like football's over, my streaming schedule's kind of all jacked up. I shouldn't say it's over. We got one more game left. But my weekly schedule, I got to kind of iron it out. I'll still do my Monday show, my Tuesday show, but I'm still trying to iron out when else I will throw down with you guys. Daniel Barry says, yo, what's up? Raiders hiring from the nursing home again. London Landon, whatever. Yeah, Charles London. I feel like Woody's just trying to impress his English friends from across the pond. Raiders exact opposite of the Jets. Lots of experience. Surprised they didn't hire Rex Ryan as defensive coordinator. Daniel says, yeah, he is Chad. Said he'd consider hire once his kids are done with school, maybe in 4 to 8 years. We'll see him pop up somewhere, but you never know. Yeah, how old's he going to be at that point? That's a pretty seasoned quarterback coach. I mean, if he was just a quarterback coach, that'd be fine. I don't think I want Chad calling plays right now. But yeah, we could see. I've always thought Chad would be a really cool coach to have. Smart dude. Chip Kelly on the Raiders. Does that mean they draft Howard? No. I don't know where the Raiders are going. I don't even know where the top part of this draft is really going. I feel like Ward is going to go 1. I feel like Sanders is going to go 3. I think that's how that shakes out. And then I think Travis Hunter goes 2 to the Browns, or they trade out. Daniel says, start and build character, go Jets. Got to build the culture. Ryan says, Ritter and Levis both got notably worse after London left, so who knows, right? Yeah, see, Ryan's taking the glass half full approach. I like this. Wyatt says, late night stuff is all I can catch because of how busy I am all day. Wyatt, out on the farm, herding cattle and elk and all the other things out in Wyoming, unless you're still in California. But I appreciate you hopping in here, Wyatt. Kev says, please stream till I finish shoveling snow. Shake my head. So I probably should go outside and shovel snow. I really don't want to. I don't think we have that much. I got the 4-wheel drive car. Maybe I just drive out in the morning. I don't know. I should probably look outside before I go to bed. Daniel says 2:27 p.m. here in Brisbane, Australia. Wow. So it's tomorrow. No, it's today. It's just the afternoon of today. Early prediction on who the Jets draft. Ted McMillan's the guy I would like. I think regardless of how you feel about Devontae Adams and Rodgers, I think behind Garrett Wilson is very, very thin at wide receiver. So for me, Ted McMillan is kind of where I'm looking at. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of prospects at the top part of this draft that I like. I like Mason Graham. I like Abdul Carter. Will Johnson is very good. If they want to, honestly, if they want to pull the trigger on a quarterback too, even though I think it would be a reach at 7, whether it's Milroe or Jackson Dart, I would understand the swing. I think a blue chipper at 7 and then maybe a swing at quarterback in the 2nd would be a little bit more, a little bit of an easier swallow for me. JT, I like the moves we made. I think we have a nice mix of experience versus inexperience. He poached his guys from the Lions as well, which is nice. I'm a fan of how it's turning out so far. Engstrand's my favorite hire of the bunch so far. I think Wilkes is going to be fun to watch on defense. We haven't seen blitzing in a long time. It's been a lot of 4 down linemen and just try to beat the 4 guys in front of you or 5 guys in front of you. But I like those. The other ones I'm cautiously optimistic about. No way Rodgers retires. His ego is too big to go down like he did. I mean, he did end on a 4-touchdown game after getting 500 touchdowns. 500 or 600? I think it was 500 in his career. I'm not so sure that's as down a note when we get, a few months removed from here. I think he'll be able to kind of reassess. I would say I was pretty high on him definitely retiring. Now I'm less so. I feel like he might be coming back. I hope he plays for us. That's what I'd like to see. Do the Jets still try to add a senior offensive consultant? I hope so. I would still like to see an older, wiry kind of like offensive mind. I think Reich's still getting paid like a head coach. Peterson's obviously getting paid like a head coach. Although I guess you could take some sort of lesser role. I guess if you're a consultant, you could probably still get paid. Article on Turner from the Raiders saying their offense was much improved from Getsy. That's what I've heard from Raiders fans. What's your prediction on the Garrett Wilson situation? I don't think he gets traded this offseason. I think we wait a year. I think it's going to be a wait and see type of an approach, and you hope he's happy here. You hope everything kind of works out and they give him a contract next year. He might ask for a contract this season. I don't think it's going to happen this year. And even if he sat out, I don't know if it's like a I don't know if he can sit out, really. They've made it very hard to sit out on the rookie deals. So my prediction is Garrett's here through this year and hopefully a lot longer than that. But I don't think anything major happens other than maybe he requests a trade and there's some jockeying around, but I don't see a deal getting done. Why wasn't Hackett fired? That's why I think Rodgers might be back. Wasn't Hackett relieved of his duties, or maybe I think he's no longer on the team website for coaches. So make that of it what you will. I'm worried with a first-time GM and our cap situation and pending contract renewals. Yeah, I think that's a big concern. Moji definitely didn't give off like the alpha vibes that I feel like Douglas kind of asserted. I feel like there's a little bit more power when Douglas talked, where Moji, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a wait and see type of an approach. Now you can kind of see what the Broncos did over the last few years. I thought with them giving out contracts and being in the rough cap shape after Russell Wilson was let go, is going like that experience that he had there is going to prove valuable for over here. Now, does he take advantage of what he's learned in the past? That's anyone's game. There's really nothing to go off of other than like what we've seen from the Broncos and hope that he can either duplicate or alter in some situation, in New York. You have to subscribe only chat. You have subscribe only chat. Yeah, of course I do. If you want to talk in here, gotta at least throw me a sub. What the heck? Trying to just subscribe? Or is he saying Tyson's got to subscribe? The way the staff is being formed and coming together, it looks like we're moving off of Rodgers, and it's the right decision. Yeah, I think they want Rodgers to retire. I think it's almost like they're hiring a staff. I hope they're hiring the right staff, first and foremost. But it definitely feels like they might go tell Rodgers, like, hey, yeah, we're kind of like good if you just hang it up. I think he might want to still play, though. That's the thing. Both these guys seem so mid. A bad OC for 4 years based on numbers and quarterback coach with some mid guys extremely mess. Seems like experience just for experience hires. That is kind of where I'm at, Kyle. I think I'm trying to take the optimistic approach when looking at both of them, but I do feel like it's both kind of a mid. Which honestly, if you're looking at the Jets and how we sort of rank, I shouldn't say rank, but where maybe we are on the pecking order of like filling out a coaching staff, we're probably less desirable than some other landing spots. While Leaf says, yeah, I definitely think the Giants get their quarterback. I do as well. Jackson Dart would be interesting and might go in the top 10. I could totally see him getting up to the top 10. There's so much hype around quarterbacks. When you look at what happened last year, Penix, Nix, J.J. McCarthy, none of them were considered first-round picks. Maybe late first, if that, and all of them went top 12. So 6 quarterbacks going in the top 12. I don't think we're going to see that many, but I think you'll see Milroe go very high. I think you'll see Jackson Dart go very high. And then you'll see some guys in the second round. I think you'll see 4 go in the top end of the first. Maybe you get a 5th at the back end of the first, but they'll be elevated. There's pros and cons. Like Dart didn't look great the first Senior Bowl practice. I heard he looked good the other 2. And then Dylan Gabriel from Oregon looked really good. I'm looking forward to the combine and just kind of seeing how the interviews shake out and watching more and more breakdowns of these quarterbacks. I'll watch some of their games and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to think the Jets go at the quarterback spot. Would you trade up for a quarterback or just draft wide receiver, D tackle, safety? Those are the 3 positions I'd really want to kind of consider. Safety less so, I guess, just because I don't really want to spend another top 10 pick in this on a safety. But I would understand it. I think is it Malachi Starks is the safety that's going to be there. I could see them go that route, especially with Glenn as head coach. I don't want to trade up at all. Give me the blue chipper. Or if you want to take quarterback at 7, that's fine. Cuddy, how much would it cost to move up to 4? Ryan, I'm shoveling and not too far from you. Check outside. I mean, it's definitely snowy out. I gotta go out. It's just a matter if I'm going out in the morning. Maybe I'll throw some headphones in and just like jam out at 1 o'clock. Have myself a gummy and go hang out. We'll see. Connor Rogers says Dart is trashed. I believe him over all the others. I do like Connor Rogers a lot. I value his opinion. If he says he's trash, then I'm cool with not taking quarterback at the top end of this draft. Milroe's the one to me. I know he's not ready, but is just such an electric type of skill set that really intrigues me. But not enough to spend like a first round pick and blow it and not have like a blue chipper. I really want a blue chip prospect there instead of like a swing at a quarterback. Patriots are taking McMillan, says Jets fan. Maybe. I think they could definitely go receiver. I think it's entirely possible Travis Hunter falls to them too. I don't think it's a lock that he's top 3. Jacob, perks of being out-of-state Jets fan. No snow in Florida. Let's go. You guys had snow, last week? Panhandle did, at least. Do we have too many needs to trade up for a quarterback? I agree. I don't want to trade up. Next year, totally fine with that, though. Wonder if Scott Turner could bring in that Raiders tight ends coach with him. Thought he was a decent position coach last year. I mean, when you got Bowers and Mayer, you got to be feeling pretty decent. Both those guys are young too. They're second year and first year players, so they're going into years 3 and 4, 2 and 3. I'm more interested to look into like what players could be coming over from some of these coaching staffs. Isaac says I like Aaron Curry a lot. Yeah, I remember liking him coming out of college. I think that's the right Curry that I'm thinking of. If the Jets don't draft a defensive contributor in the first round, the fans will have a blowout. I would like to go. I'm fine with going defense, but I think receiver is a bigger need for me. I'd rather give up some games on the defensive side and have our offense primed for a young quarterback to step in than worry about stopping the run early on. D tackle, I think, can be addressed in free agency. There's an interior defensive tackle from both the Broncos and the Lions that will be free agents. So I'd like to get one of them. If not both. If you want to bring in both, I think that's fine too, because we need a lot of D tackles here. You think our secondary holds up with an increased blitz? Yeah, because I think we'll be sending linebackers. I don't think our secondary is going to blitz that much. Maybe, I mean, a safety, I guess, if he comes down in the box. Sack Exchange says, I'd trade back, get extra picks, and pick up Jackson Dart later in the first. You play with fire with quarterbacks. I hate trading down for a quarterback because I feel like that never happens. It's not to say it can't happen, but I feel like if you like the guy enough to take him at 15 and you're going to risk from 7 to 15 of someone potentially taking him or someone trading in front of you, I would just take him at 7 at that point. Ryan says, if Abdul Carter drops, I want Carter, but I'm open to a trade down to get picks and go for Jalen Walker. I don't know much on Walker, I'll be honest. Yeah, this is an evaluation year unless we get blown away with an offer. I don't see us trading going on this year. Yeah, I agree. Glenn said he is going to go really hard in training camp, nothing like Sal ever did. Yeah, I mean, you have to, right? Especially when the team's kind of like switching over to that young buck stage. You'd rather have them understand everything that's going in than, especially if Rodgers isn't the quarterback, and then they're not going to have any knowledge of anything going on. So you're going to want to have all your starters have as many reps as possible, or the whole team have as many reps as possible in a growing year. It sucks that Washington blocked that QB hire. I didn't know you can block a promotion. I think offensive coordinator maybe is where that starts. I know head coach they can't block, but I think you can start doing it at offensive coordinator. Like if we hire someone to be an OC, the other team would need to make that person probably an assistant head coach. Kyle says, honest question, how can pro Rodgers guys say he gives us the best chance to win when we had him this whole year and went 5-12? I think our defense was a major factor in why this happened. I think it was coaching, defense, and Rodgers. It was those three things. And my stance on Rodgers started to change a little bit more post-bye when I felt like Todd Downing took over play calling and Olu Fashanu was left tackle instead of Tyron Smith. The team just started to click a little bit better. I would like to see another year of Rodgers for that kind of reason. But if he hangs it up and it's no longer, the Aaron Rodgers on the New York Jets scenario, then that's fine too. And you kind of take your medicine in 1 year. I'm not very high on rolling the dice high on a quarterback in this season if it's going to be a little bit more of a tank year, though. I think there's going to be too much pressure to play the young guy. But yeah, look, I understand where you're coming from here. Dart screams Zach Wilson 2.0. Good off platform. No anticipation. Yeah, he gives me serious vibes of Zach Wilson. Ryan, a year of Justin Fields intrigues me if Rodgers leaves. Tyrod is injury prone, and honestly, I don't care if Jordan Travis. I didn't care for Jordan Travis at Florida State, and we still don't know what he is after injury. Yeah, 100%. Jordan Travis is a lottery ticket at best. You do not factor him into any quarterback decisions you make. If he's on the roster, he wants to compete, totally fine. Justin Fields intrigues me because of the leadership aspects and because he's young enough to still be an answer at quarterback. I also feel like he didn't really get a fair shake. I shouldn't say a fair shake in Pittsburgh, but I think he probably won't go back because there might be some feelings as to why they switched to Russell Wilson. Now, as far as like competition for Fields and other teams that may want him, I think us having Garrett and Ruckert both sort of help the pitch to getting Justin Fields here, as well as like, hey, you're going to be on television a lot. You're going to have like a big microscope on you here in New York, for better or worse. So if you want to parlay this into a real opportunity, I think, that's sort of the pitch you give to him. Probably the easiest job to win, I would think. Keep Rodgers, draft Dart, let the kid learn behind Rodgers for a year. Then you have Travis and Dart the year after battling for the job. And I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Wyatt says, I know I'm spoiled by the weather here in southern San Diego, but I miss the snows and mountains of home. Yeah, Wyoming and San Diego, slightly different weather-wise. Why always trade up? We need more picks to cover for leaving free agents and a little cap space. People always want to talk about trading up for a quarterback. This is not the draft I feel compelled to trade up for. I do like reloading our cupboard a little bit more and waiting till 2026 to potentially make that move to go get a guy. Ricky did not like my Travis Hunter as a top 3 guy. Going 4 is not absurd. Like Abdul Carter could 100% go in front of Jordan Travis if like the team that's drafting him needs an edge rusher. Like if the Browns are saying like, hey, we are going to trade Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter sitting there and they already have Denzel Ward at corner and they have, who's their freaking receiver? Gone off the top of my head. I mean, I would not be shocked if Travis Hunter goes 1, I'm not going to be shocked. If he goes 2, I'm not going to be shocked. I would be surprised if he goes 3. I think 3's got to be a quarterback. But I think 4 is totally fine. Matic, I would take Milrow too, Ryan. I have him sit. Dart feels like Zach on a meteoric rise in the offseason. Red flags. Milrow, to me, you just have to be okay with tailoring your offense totally around him. It is such a wacky quarterback play style. Like, you really have to rely on his legs. If they go with Fields, they might be considering that. Like, there's no reason you can't have Fields and Tyrod and Travis and then still draft a quarterback. Like, you could do that. I don't know, man. All these quarterbacks just scare me one way or the other. I feel like Milroe, to me, has the trait that other guys just don't. And that's the thing that always like pops off to me. That speed is special. I just don't think you're going to get your traditional quarterback, out of him. A Stu, trade down if Mason Graham, Carter, Hunter, and Will Johnson are gone. You're not a Ted McMillan guy. I think all those guys will be gone too. I think they're all out by the time we pick. This will be a wasted year if we don't keep Rodgers, so who cares? I'd rather have a quarterback to develop a year. AG will fix the defense. So another, guy looking for quarterback. Let's do a little poll question here while we do this. I'll go for an hour. We'll finish. I'll polish this off. 24 minutes, I guess. So, do you want a quarterback in the top 2 rounds this year? So keep it vague. Do you want a quarterback in the top 2 rounds this year? You guys can vote on that. Let me know. If you don't draft the quarterback this year, you are wasting 2 years. Potentially. It depends how you go about it. Like, you could say you want Jordan Travis first, Justin Fields, and I feel like Justin Fields is a fine swing in a year. You're resetting the cap. You get an idea of the players that you have on your roster, and then you move forward with either the quarterbacks you have going into 2026 or you go draft a guy. I'm not opposed to either route there. Curious to see if Morstead and Hennessy stick around with a new special teams coach. I hope so. I like Morstead a lot. You remember you couldn't turn on the TV without seeing Tyrod commercial. I don't remember seeing a Tyrod commercial, to be honest. Jalen Walker, stud linebacker from Georgia. I don't really want a linebacker. Not in the first. JC says, I'm not Rodgers' truther, but I do think he wasn't fully comfortable after the injury and may have been more of a rev-up year. Yeah, and I also think Tyron Smith starting at left tackle probably hurt this team to start the year. Wyatt, Jordan Travis will be an excellent quarterback. Have faith. I'm optimistic, I think, is too strong of a word. I'm hopeful. I like Jordan Travis. I literally have nothing to go on, though, because we didn't get to see him last year. So I can't rely on him enough. That's sort of why I like the Fields option. If you go Fields, then it gives Travis a chance. But with the new coaching staff, he may never get it just because he may not be their guy. Funny enough, I'm pretty sure Zach and Dart went to the same high school. I'm pretty sure they did. I did hear that somewhere. Did you know Jackson Dart's younger brother's name is Diesel? Diesel Dart? It's a crazy name. Awesome LA. I want us to trade and get a quarterback with a second or third. Why draft any player with 7th overall when all the main guys are going to be picked after 5th overall? When all the main guys are going to be picked after 5th overall. Yeah, I mean, I want the blue chipper up top. Give me a quarterback in the second. I don't really want to trade into the back of the first if it's going to cost us a 2026 first. If it's going to cost us less, then I consider it. Ryan, do we have any 3rd-round picks this year? Because I thought we lost them because we hired Glenn. No, you don't lose a 3rd-round pick. It's the team that loses a minority coach gains a compensation 3rd-round pick. So I believe the Lions will get a 3rd-round pick in 2026. I think it's a year later, if I'm not mistaken. But we have 1 3rd-round pick. We actually have the Lions' 3rd-round pick, which is going to be the end of the 3rd round. So when you go first pick at 7, second pick 36 or whatever pick we are, 40, 42, 43, and then it's going to be back end of the third. So you're talking like over a round. It's like a round and a half between second round pick and third round pick for us. Ryan says, if we're taking a shot at quarterback in the draft, I'd rather Milroe. He has the it factor that is worth possibly developing. I would also take a swing at McCord in the middle rounds. Yeah, those are the two guys that I think intrigue me a lot. Jackson Dart does too. I won't say he doesn't. But I think he's going to go higher than I would feel comfortable taking him. There's enough guys in this draft that I don't feel compelled the 7th overall pick needs to be a quarterback. Like if you want to get the kid from Ohio State or Oregon, cool. Like I could be down with either one of those. Browns traded Cooper and Elijah Moore is going to be a free agent. They need someone to pair with Judy. Yeah, I mean so I think the most likely route is that it goes Ward, Hunter, Sanders, and then the Patriots are where I'm not so sure. Ted McMillan would make a lot of sense for them. I could see them go Abdul Carter. I could see them go. It feels early for O-line, but maybe O-line. Milroe gives me Jalen Hurts vibes. Say what you will about Hurts. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, dude, it's super tough to have that style of play and that amount of speed at the quarterback position. It puts an immense stress on a defense. Kev says, I want Fields. Correct the wrong that was Zach. That would be pretty cool if Fields wound up being like the dude. Stu says, not a Ted McMillan guy. Trade back, get an extra second or third. Take the TCU wide receiver, Savion Williams in the second. 6'6", 230, 445. 4.45 40 with decent hands, but does way more than Tet. Much better runner, Yak. All right, I'll look into him more. I'm excited. I like the combine because then you kind of see the risers and fallers, see where guys check out. Billy says, I think Rodgers comes back for sure. They don't need to be trying to find a quarterback while they're trying to fix the defense. Yeah, I mean, they can rebuild the defense and kind of build this team to be the best version of the roster as it can be without adding a quarterback. So it kind of gives Rodgers the ability to go all in a sense, while they figure out the quarterback. I feel like it only becomes an issue if you're going to really, maybe not even an issue, but I feel like it becomes more of a question when you are using high picks on a quarterback. Would you trade Brees and draft Ginty? No, I would not. I would not do that. Oh, man. I said I was going to do an hour, but I just realized I thought I was going at 11 o'clock. So we're going to do a 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock end here. It's going to be a 45-minute stream. Boys and girls, I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, head over to BetUS. Get -2 on the Kansas City Chiefs if you think they're going to win, for the 3-peat, +2 for the Eagles if you think Saquon Barkley going to be able to take it to the Giants 1 year after leaving, win himself a Super Bowl over there. Get 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. BetUS, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. We got a little bit of awesome coming in here at the end here. Mr. Jake Asman, Ryan is a hero we needed. Greatness personified. Jake, finger guns, snap guns, thank you so much for tuning in. Awesome says, I want us to think ahead. If we trade back, we could possibly get a next year's first, which would help us get a top quarterback and more in a loaded draft class. So I'm fine with the idea of trading down. You just need to trade down with a team that wants to come up. Like, that's the biggest thing. And I feel like Ginty's the one player that might intrigue enough people. Now, how far back are you going to have to go to get that 2026 first? Because I feel like after the top 7 players, like really, the Jets kind of hit that sweet spot at 7 to get the final blue chipper, most likely. And if you trade down, how far back do you have to go? Like, how much is that worth for someone to come up? If you can get a 2026 first, I'm probably going to trade down. And I would be all right doing that because there's enough holes on this team to load up on picks for next year. I don't know. I'm not against it. Not against it at all. Throw Ryan's up here too. Trading back and getting a few picks, getting Jalen Walker around 15 would play. Linebackers and sexy at 15. but in a blitz-heavy defense, it's huge with CJ probably getting cut. Quincy almost 30. Quincy's also in the last year of his deal. CJ's probably going to retire if I had to guess. I don't know. I think we're in for a hell of a ride. A lot of uncertainty. I'm a glass half full kind of dude. And look, I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. And but cautiously hopeful. I'm not getting my hopes up to the degree they were the last even 3 years, like dating back the year prior to Rodgers. Manage my expectations and be excited if we exceed them. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.